And as we have been waiting for, here is Costco earnings, baby. Just reported last night here. Really, I'm recording it the night of, but you'll see this the next morning. We'll see how it opens up. But right now, down 2.5% after hours. We'll see what pre-market looks like tomorrow. Guess it kind of depends on, obviously, right now it's really related to news of how the market wants to trade for the day. So it does what it wants, so maybe that'll lead Costco up or down further. Don't know what to say to you. But we'll take a look at these earnings real quick because it's one that I was very interested in. So, needless to say, I would definitely like to call it a smasher, right? This is what I call an earnings smasher. GAAP EPS of $3.13 beats by 32 cents. Massive beat. Massive beat. What else can I say? That's a massive beat. Revenue of $53.38 billion, which is up 12.4% year over year, beats by $1 billion. So this bad boy is just going to go pretty much in line with how the other retailers are doing. We're talking about a 10+% revenue growth, massive beats. And on top of that, we also have e-commerce numbers too of 91% increase on e-commerce, which is really big for a company like Costco. So Costco obviously runs a little bit different than your traditional retailer. Costco is an interesting mixture of subscription and through membership base as well as just retailer. They're a subscription retailer. It's weird. Really, we just call it a wholesaler. So obviously, the membership you pay for because you tend to expect better pricing in that store than you would, elsewhere because you're buying large bulk quantity. So to see e-commerce rise that much on a company like this, which is more bulk related, is pretty massive, and I think that should be definitely known. Comp US sales were up 13.6% as well. And again, I anticipated that one entirely. I told you to expect comp sales increased at least 10%, and they did even better than I thought they were going to do with 13.6%. I will say that. Total comp sales rose 14.1%. Definitely bigger than I thought. I'd be closer to. I thought it'd be closer to, right around the 10 range. So 14% is pretty big. Comp sales were up 13.6, and that's just, they typoed the crap out of this. International markets, comp sales in the U.S. were up 13.6, and I'm guessing Europe, no, I don't know what they're trying to say here, but comp sales in the U.S. were up 13.6, okay? International markets were up 18.8, pretty massive. Massive e-commerce, obviously, too. Focus on the conference call, which I didn't watch the conference call or listen to it, so I'm curious if that's what's leading this stock down. My assumption would likely be that there was a guidance issue, so we're going to be looking at, obviously, their press release, taking a look if that's part of the issue. I don't know. Unless something was said on this conference call that was wild, if it went buck wild, I don't know if it did. But for some reason, I kind of doubt that it did. So, in my opinion, I would say that we'll take a look. Okay. Now that we're taking a freaking look, this is what we'd like to talk about. Obviously, they're giving the adjusted numbers as far as the comp. Canada was up 12.6. That's what they were trying to say. Seeking Alpha, you dirty dog, you. But for the full year, e-commerce saw a 50% increase, man. 50% comp. That is incredible. And for the full year, U.S. saw 9.2%, 7.4% in Canada, and 11.2% in international, and 9.2 overall for the total company, which is a massive year for them. Massive year for them. What can I say? Net income of $1.39 billion is pretty big. I can't lie to you. That compares to $1.09 billion last year, this quarter a year ago. So pretty massive. I like where that goes. That's all I could tell you. I really do like where that goes. Net income for the full fiscal year was $4 billion, which compares to $3.66 billion of the year prior. So good to see that as well. Growth there. And obviously, as we mentioned, the balance sheet, which was spaced weirdly on their PDF. So sorry, Costco, but you might want to figure out your PDF game. It's a little weak. They are, though, doing the thing that I love and giving me a full year comparison. I love a full year comparison. Total current assets on this company right now of $28.1 billion versus $23.4 billion. Whew, good improvement. Total assets in general, 55.5 compared to 45.4, so a $10 billion increase in terms of total assets. Current liabilities, we did see an increase in total current liabilities, 24.8 billion versus 23.2, but total liabilities in general of 36.8 versus 29.8. So as you can tell from that, if you're good at the math, are you good at the math, baby? Stockholder equity rose, okay? You can tell. $18.7 billion in stockholder equity versus 15.5 of a year ago. The balance sheet's not only just growing in general, but you're also getting to see this nice number in terms of stockholder equity that we just like to see, okay? We like seeing that number. So, good stuff for Costco. I gotta be honest, the stock's up relatively decent on the year, up around 19% on the year. After this move went down, it might not be quite as good, but again, PE ratio is going to be around 40 here. I don't dislike the stock at these levels, which I think people might find crazy, but I really don't. This is a stock that's just on a tear, as you can tell. I don't dislike it at these levels even. I don't prefer it. If you haven't initiated a position already, I would likely not be initiating a position on it, but if you already have an existing position, I don't think that it's impossible. You know, it's not. I don't think it's an awful idea to add from there. So, but in my opinion, right now, I still like the stock. I mean, I think this is just a beast of a company, and it'll continue to benefit. I mean, it'll continue to benefit consistently. One thing I don't think people realize, obviously, as we get into if there is potential second wave of everything going on right now, this retail spending habit that we've seen is not dying down. Now, I will say economic conditions likely worsen, right? There's no doubt. But the thing about people and the nature of people is they love spending. What I've noticed personally from having experience in the field, there was a downward trend towards August, right, where we saw maybe sales will normalize, but back now already to September, we've seen booming sales again. We've seen sales booming yet again. So I do believe Costco will find some of the same luck in that aspect, and people just want to spend money sometimes, and there are less places for them to spend the money. So that's why you see an increase in average ticket price here for them. So the average transaction grows for Costco pretty consistently now. Traffic is usually down in store, but you do see average ticket price increase more than enough to make up for that and grow revenue there. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff. So really hope you enjoy this and you have a good one.